Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from SethMarkwood.com.
Together, along with you, the three of us, we are Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again, boy.
Thanks.
Where you
Glad
been?
to be here. All over the place. Since the last time we filmed. Los Angeles, maybe. Definitely Chicago. Definitely Austin, Texas. So, all over. I'll be in Asheville and Naples, Florida in the next 2 weeks.
I was in Asheville a little over a week ago.
Yeah.
But before we talk about any of that, let's talk about smoking. So the other day, I'm flipping through the recommended videos from YouTube, and there's Matches 860, John, doing a review of Lane Ready Rubbed. And I thought, I know I've smoked that before, but the way he was describing it, that wasn't my experience with it. And I scratched my head and finally went looking on our channel, and I didn't see any reference to it, but I'm pretty sure at one time or another this has wound up in a cornament or something.
Sure.
But then I found out that it was a video of mine for sure where I tried it for the first time. I was visiting Chris Morgan out in California in his shop, and he shared some with me. So I went ahead and purchased it and purchased another version. Both of these are copies of the original Edgeworth Ready Rubbed. Edgeworth Ready Rubbed at the end of its run, and they sold that product for years. I'm talking like 70 years. At the time that they knocked it off, Lane was manufacturing it for them.
Okay.
So the Lane version is probably, we'll see, maybe, I don't know, because we don't have any of the original here to compare it to, but it's probably the closest to the original recipe. But the Sutliff version of it has gotten high praise as well. So I thought, since we're going to be here and record two videos, let's smoke both of these, and then next week we'll render an opinion of which of these we cared for the most, at least.
Or we'll forget to do that. I'm going to make sure we're recording. Go ahead. Nope. Yep. We're good.
Wow. So we can either do this, we can do this one of two ways. We can either both smoke the same one today and then the other one next week, or you can smoke one and I smoke the other. You just want to have the same experience.
Yeah, let's do it that way.
So today then we will smoke the Lane Ready Rubbed. Now this is a predominantly burley tobacco, and burley, just as in the name burley, is a pretty strong,
Mustachioed.
pretty strong, some would say harsh tobacco. And so one of the things that you'll want to do is be sure you smoke this slowly. And this happens to be white burley in particular. And so white burley, in order to slow you down, the way that this has been cut and the way it's produced is kind of big little chunks that are designed to smoke very well slowly. So that's
what
my
I hear
advice.
you say is burn it hot and fast. Gotcha.
Well, it's funny you would say that. I have a bit of tongue bite today because yesterday I sat out here, and it's just beautiful right now in North Carolina. We're in the start of our probably first 2 weeks of the entire fall that we'll get, or the entire 2 weeks of fall. And it was just gorgeous out here, and I'm recovering from knee replacement number 2. And so I just sat here and I smoked some Lane LL7, and I just smoked bowl after bowl after bowl after bowl of that. I actually shot a video for my channel, which I haven't done in a while. And so I have a little bit of tongue bite. So I'm smoking burley today.
Yeah.
So tell us about your travels, your endeavors.
I think we may have mentioned my trip to LA. That was fun. I was out there just briefly, got to see some cool local sites, had some really great food, but most of my time was spent in the convention center.
And you were at a hotel that was a block or two away from the convention center, and you had no vehicle, so you were limited to what was right there, right?
Then in Chicago, similar situation. I wasn't I wasn't far from the hotel or far from the convention center. But I did a little bit more traveling. I did some more Ubering around Chicago. So had a lot of deep dish pizza. Totally off keto for a couple of weeks there. Had Gino's East, had the original Uno's, had Gino's East again. Had some really good pizza.
Does that mean you found a favorite, or just happened to have Gino's East twice?
Yeah, no. Of the two, I would have preferred Uno's again, but I didn't have time. The last one was my day of travel, so I took a red eye home. Had to be at the airport at 9:30. Got out of the convention center at about 4 o'clock, and Gino's was kind of on the way to the hotel. It was good. It was really good. But if I had to choose a favorite, it was Uno's. They do something interesting with their crust. It's almost like a cornbread crust or cornmeal crust. It's really nice. Which, according to some locals, it makes it very unique because they don't do that in any of their chain locations. So I'm not sure why that is.
The crust for the chains are all made at a commissary, where they make that crust there. If I understand my history. In fact, if you would have walked out of Uno, you were within sight of Duo, right, which is their second location.
Yep. I was told I can't go wrong between the two of those. So, yeah, it was neat. And then was home for 2 days and went immediately to Auston. And Austin's a cool town, so normally this trade event is one where I wouldn't get to leave the hotel. So I would see the airport and the hotel and whatever the Uber ride was in between. But this one took place in downtown, and so it allowed a little bit more freedom to actually see the city. And so the first night we're there, I'm a huge fan of a number of YouTube channels that are based in Austin. One is Rooster Teeth. One is
Dodif.
One is Scam School and Modern Rogue.
Brian Brushwood.
Yeah. And then there's also the Whiskey Marketing School is based there as well. Some really, really great YouTube channels from that area. And so I have recently backed a Scam School Kickstarter, or Modern Rogue, Scam Nation, all the same. They are building a headquarters in Austin, and I was part of a backer for that, their founders club. And so, that was kind of on my mind being down there, and I discovered when we got there that our hotel is only 2 blocks away from one of their frequent filming locations. They film at a couple of bars downtown, and one was really, really close. And so
can you explain you haven't mentioned what they are? What does he do? What does Brian do? And what are the channels, what's the main theme?
So Scam School has been around for 10 plus years. And I'm not sure if it started as a video series or as a segment on a show on G4, one of those cable shows. But Scam School dubs themselves as social engineering at the bar and on the street. Basically, it's magic tricks, riddles, social ways of just engaging with people.
Quick little bar bets.
That's right. And so, as you can imagine, 10 years worth of these, there are tons of these videos. Some more involved than others, some like hypnotism, some simple, involving dice, or, bar bets like measuring the rim around a glass versus its height, which one is of greater distance, all sorts of things. And so I've used it for a long time in social situations, like the event I was attending, where you're spending a lot of time at the bar, just socializing. They, on Scam School, they break the tricks down into 3 sections: openers, tweeners, and closers. With the opener is something that's you just trying to kind of build a crowd, build some intrigue. Tweeners is gauging interest, and then your closer is the I'll sell you the solution if you buy me a drink. And so, those are more riddles, puzzles the really frustrating things. At that point, the people that you're working with are already engaged in the process, and so they're in it.
And they've done a couple crowdfunding things. My favorite one was they did a ring that looks like it has hieroglyphics around it. And there's some little other things that can happen with the ring. In fact, there's a version of it that has a tool hidden in the ring. I won't give that away. But what's cool about it is the little hieroglyphic, the little, let's call it emoji, each one of them are a reminder to you of a particular routine that you can run if you're in these situations. And I've not bought one of these rings. They're available in an inexpensive and an expensive version. What is it, titanium versus stainless steel or
something?
Silver.
Two metals.
Anyway, it's a neat idea as a reminder of those things. It's sort of like if you had some way to prompt you to remember the punchline to all the jokes you forget. And anyway, but you had recently funded something, right?
Yeah. What I had funded is their new headquarters. So
the headquarters. Oh wow! Right.
Yeah. So they bought some property and had funded that. And so at the level that I funded, I'll receive a piece of the property, a challenge coin. So several of the things that they have done funding on, they will have custom challenge coins. A challenge coin being military background, a coin that you carry with you, and someone can ask if you have your coin with you, and if you don't, you have to buy them a drink. And then also they're going to make a plaque on the property that will have all of the founders' names on it. And so it's really, really cool. A number of these things that they have done have been, they do a really good job of making it special, right? And so, the same guy, Brian Brushwood, is the host of that and has been for a long time. He's got another YouTube show with co-host Modern Rogue, and that one has similar but different content. So they're doing things like lock picking. They're making improvised weapons. They're going to a bartender and learning about different types of glasses and how to make a true Manhattan, and all of them in both instances kind of, but more so in the Modern Rogue, falls into like gentlemanly pursuits, right? And so love that channel. Both of them are great. If you're interested in those sort of things, you should definitely check them out.
We'll link them below, and we'll link to Brian's appearance on Penn and Teller's Fool Us, which is an excellent appearance.
So
I better remember to do that.
So anyway, I'm super excited to be there. So I go to the Handlebar Saloon, and they have a patio upstairs, and that's where, at this point, I don't know, a third to half of the CM School videos are filmed. They've set up there, and so we're up there on the patio, and in Auston. This is the day I've arrived in Auston. I go there, and two co-workers are there. I'm kind of fangirling out a little bit, because this is the booth where it's all filmed, and the booth opens up, and they're sitting in the booth, and so I'm sitting I'm sitting where the camera would normally sit, looking at my coworkers there. I pull up a video on YouTube to show them, see that, look, this is where you're sitting, you can see the building,
and
behind,
they have no idea who you're talking about.
No idea. And so, that they say, you want to switch and get a picture? I said, absolutely, but not yet. We're enjoying ourselves. I can wait. I can wait for that. 15 minutes later, we're still sitting there just talking about random stuff. I look up, and 5 feet away from me is Brian Brushwood, the host of these shows, magician extraordinaire, and total fangirl moment. And so he's turning to walk away. He has his earbuds in. He is wearing Raycon earbuds, which is all the rage for YouTubers right now. They're doing huge YouTube promotion, but it's nice to see that someone who is selling the product is using the product that they're selling. So he's got those earbuds in, and he turns to walk away, and I stand up and say, Brian. He turns around, takes his earbuds out, said, hey, sorry to bother you. I'm a huge fan of all of your stuff. And here from North Carolina, and holy cow, you're here. Would love to get a picture. And he said, absolutely, absolutely. So we got a picture. And then spent about 10 minutes talking about YouTube. I told him how much I appreciate Scam School and those things, how I use those. I'm in town at a trade event that I will be using some things I have learned from Scam School. So it's a huge help there. I said I really appreciate the approach they have had to their crowdfunding in this, that they really build a tribe around themselves. And he said that they didn't have plans to crowdfund this location, this property that they purchased, but they got to a point where they could have funded about 90% themselves, but a bill came in and they had no way to pay it. And he said, well, I guess it's time to go ahead and ask for support. And they did. I got an email yesterday that 800 people joined the Founders Club, gave support of one shape or another. Some of the support levels were $5,000. There were several people that gave that. And that involves a trip to the site. But talked for about 10 minutes. It was one of the very first things he said is, so this is just how unlikely it is that this would have ever happened. He said, I'm not normally out this late, not normally out like this, but I've got a buddy who's doing a show down there and had about 15 minutes to kill. And so I stepped out and saw that, the handlebar's here. And he said, I'll just pop in for a beer without thinking that I might get made. I said, yeah, sorry about that. Literally, I'm sitting here about to take a picture in the booth. He said, oh yeah, of course, because we filmed so many episodes here. I said, yeah. And so the likelihood of the day I arrive, the 10-minute window that he's actually there, me noticing, if I had switched seats and taken the picture earlier, I would not have seen him standing there. And so I'll try to remember to add the video or the picture. Super nice guy. Was great to get a chance to meet him, exactly as he came across in real life, exactly as he does in on the channel and everything. I just really...
Do you have his ring? Because if you did, he would have bought you a drink.
No, no, and I realized after the fact, that I should have offered to buy him a drink. I'm a bad
fangirl.
Yeah, fangirl, but
that's so much fun.
So my coworker's like, "What was that? What was that about?" I was like, let me tell you. You know how I've been talking about this? That it just happened. Just happened. So that was the highlight of the trip. Had some great brisket. Had a great show event too. It was nice to actually get to see bits and pieces of Auston. People talk about 6th Street being like party central. I could see that. It is also very much like tiny Vegas or tiny, I don't know. All of the bars had lots of lights, lots of brightness, and people standing on the street trying to pull you in or panhandle. Two of my coworkers had a guy trying to sell them condoms on the street so that he could afford to get home to Alabama.
Okay.
I don't know what that was about, but they were weirded out by it. A lot of scooters, electric scooters. We also spent an hour and a half. So there's a bridge there that has bats. I think it's like North America's largest colony of bats. And it's called the Bat Bridge. So people stand there, and at sundown, the bats will come out, and you can see this whole swarm, a huge swarm of bats come out. There are river cruises, people in kayaks all under the bridge. I don't know why you would want to be under the bridge with a huge swarm of bats, but they are. And so we stood on the bridge for about an hour and a half because the sun did not go down as quickly as we expected it to. It looked like it was going to come down much sooner. It did not. And so for about an hour and a half, we're sitting on this bridge. And so this bridge is quite large. So we're standing close to this side of the bridge. And
is it pedestrian only?
No, but there's a large walkway, large sidewalk. So tons of people lined up the entire length of the bridge. we are over here. Apparently, the bats came out this way. The bats were over here, and they went, whoop. It just went together. We saw a bat, a singular bat we got to see. And then we saw a whole bunch of people from the other side of the bridge crossing back over because the city downtown is on the side of the bridge we were on. So they're crossing over the bridge, and they're saying, yeah, the bats, they left. they went the other way.
See, you should have gone to Bats Bridge.
I was hopeful that something would have happened with the bats, and that it would have been the beginning of my origin story. Like I was hoping that this is it. Superhero time, let's go. Alas.
Well, but yet you didn't dance in the moonlight.
Speaking of origin stories, when you get healed up, you need to go see Joker.
Have you seen it already?
I have. I have.
I want to see it. I do.
You should see it.
So let me put another addition onto this story of yours, and that is that while you were there, I was in Asheville hanging out with Gribley's Follies. Gribley's Folly. Got to get the name right. Max. We've known Max. Max has been a member of Mark with Men's Breakfast Club for years, and he does beautiful photography, and his most recent project is he's been doing pinhole photography.
Oh, that's cool.
Just really neat. And he just goes out in the middle of nowhere. He's a fly fisherman, so he's happy to be out in the middle of nowhere. And anyway, we met at a cigar place and had cigars and smoked pipes. And along with me was a coworker of mine who also happens to be Joffrey the Giant's brother-in-law. So and he knows a ton about pipes, and so we had a great time just kind of hanging out and chatting. And but Max is one of those guys, not unlike a lot of you, who I know and I've known for years and have never met.
Yeah.
And that was fun. It's fun for me, and a little bit about me. I like meeting up in very, very small, intimate groups. I like going to dinner with you and hanging out. I am not terribly comfortable in large groups. And so like we went to the Chicago Pipe Show. I couldn't wait till I connected with somebody and could just hang out for a while and get to know them, because I'm not into that whole working the room kind of a thing. Maybe I should watch more Scam School.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to personality type as well. It plays into it a lot. I am the same way. I was going through the StrengthsFinders test, and that's one of the things that comes out in that. Is one of my strengths is individualization, which is
Mine too.
Getting to know people on an individual level instead of in a group. There are strengths for that as well. Now, Scam School definitely helps give you some tools to be better equipped to do it. It just may not feel natural.
If I recall, we have 3 of our top 5 strengths in common. I think if that's right.
Sounds right.
So anyway, well, I'm glad that was a good time. What a neat experience to have on top of a trade show, to be able to have a little bit of fun while you're there. And did you get any barbecue while you were in Austin?
Yeah, I had some great brisket. Had some brisket tacos. Did a brewery tour on a Sunday, which started at 10 a.m. Apparently, that's a big deal there. They can only serve alcohol before 12 if it is a brewery, and they're not preparing food on site if it's not a restaurant. But it's Austin, so there are food trucks everywhere. So there's a food truck sitting out in the front, and so they provide the food. So apparently nachos and beer at 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning is very common. So we got to taste a whole bunch of stuff from the brewery, and that was nice. But yeah, had some great brisket, good brisket tacos, good sausage. Went to Cooper's barbecue in downtown.
I actually had thrown out the idea that, hey, I should get you in touch with Dodif, but you had such a busy schedule that didn't happen. But I was in Austin one time and got to hang out with Dodif and his bride. Had a very, very fun evening. They're a cool couple. Dodif, if you don't know, kills it every year in the cob foolery contest in the professional class. He makes some of the most amazing cob mods. And anyway, but on top of all that, really nice guy. All right, well, let's wrap this up.
Yep.
Do you have an opinion of this tobacco, first off?
I like it.
You've not smoked enough of it.
I know I have. It's all gone because I've been smoking it hot and fast,
Okay, so
like you recommended.
what are you picking up as far as any flavors? Is there anything added to that?
It's tobacco. I don't know. I'm so bad at that. It's tobacco flavors. I like it. Does that count for anything?
Sure, that works. So
You said there was burley in it, and probably in tasting that.
it's burley.
Yeah.
It's a burley tobacco, but it does have a little bit of flavoring to it. And maybe we'll experience more or less of that next week when we smoke the Sutliff version. But yeah, also enjoy it. Pacing myself, I don't normally smoke with that short of or small of a cadence. But yeah, it's good. I will certainly smoke more of it because I have more of it.
That's a reason to.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. Hope you make it a great week, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.